House.
Mr Speaker.
I call the Honourable Member Jonathan Young.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm very happy to stand in support of these two bills which we are doing concurrently. And it needs to be said again and again and again that the National-led government is working hard to secure a very strong future for the economy, the families, the business people of New Zealand. And this piece of legislation, as mundane as it might sound, according to Claire Curran, is actually very important. We have heard speakers this evening and today talk about this situation regarding video labels. And you know what is significant about that? It was just a very small change that made a significant difference. And I think that this is the genius of doing regulation reform, is that there are very small changes that can make significant differences to businesses out there. But we need to understand, Mr Speaker, that these changes are creating change not just in how things are done, but who does them. And this is the challenge that we are facing. This is the challenge which the opposition don't like, because it alters the job market. But the reality is that our economy is all the time changing. It's all the time evolving. It's all the time reacting and responding to market trends. And so it's incredibly important that we go through a regular process of regulatory reform in order to make sure that we have regulations that are fit for purpose, that they work, that they're not encumbrances, but they actually enhance and help business. You know, our regulations, they need to be like a racehorse, lean and high performance. That we need to have regulations that aren't cumbersome, that work, that are common sense and enhance productivity in this country. Because, Mr Speaker, we are in times of incredible change around the world. And the good thing, I believe, about New Zealand is that we are responding. We are moving forward. So, Mr Speaker, better but less regulation is essential to boost New Zealand's productivity. The maintenance of a quality regulatory environment in New Zealand requires a body of legislation that is easy to use, up to date, it's fit for purpose. That's incredibly important, Mr Speaker. And that's what's going to give us the advantage in this highly competitive world. New Zealand needs to offer a better policy environment that can be found anywhere else if we are to overcome all the disadvantages that we face as a nation. We are a long way away from our markets, perhaps the furthest country from the markets that we send to. We have a small size. We have geographical isolation. We have incredible transport costs. And so what is it that's going to give us that advantage? Of course, it's going to be innovation. It's going to be that Kiwi know-how, that ability to adapt and to find what it's going to be that's going to create that edge. But in order to do all of that, we've got to have regulations that enhance that process. You know, under the previous Labor government, we know that we saw a huge increase in the core public service. It was an environment that lived and breathed regulation in many regards because of the programs that were put in place. But we are moving into an environment where it needs to be far more entrepreneurial, where it needs to be far more innovative. Because, no doubt, even though we have very good public servants, the people who are earning us overseas exchange are our entrepreneurs. But our public service needs to support our economy, needs to support our population. But we've got to have regulation that's going to support entrepreneurialism, that's going to enable innovation to take place, that's going to, like we've talked about, even this video case, that used to have stickers on it, but now what they've said, something very basic, something very simple that should have been done a long time ago, that they can just print the classification on the slip at the point of production. And that, Mr Speaker, saves that industry millions of dollars every year. And what they do with those millions of dollars is be more innovative, create more jobs. All of these things are enhancing our economy. And that's the sort of thinking. Like I said before when I started my speech, it's the small things that make significant differences. And we have business people all over this country who are doing business, who are finding things that are snagging them and stopping their productivity. No doubt they are speaking to their members of parliament and saying, why is this here? Why can't that be changed here to make things easier? And Mr. Speaker, that is the process. It's politicians being connected to business people that's going to help regulation continue to change and be improved and modify, that's going to enable us, New Zealanders, to have a competitive economy in this very competitive world. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call the honourable member Julianne Genter.
Tēnā koe.